Good morning. This is the fourth video lesson of magnetic effect of current. In previous class, we have discussed about applications of Ampere circuit law. We calculated magnetic field due to a straight current carrying conductor at a distance r from it, and we proved it as B equals to mu naught into I divided by 2 pi into r, where small r is the distance of the point of interest or point of calculation from the current carrying conductor. Look at this expression, children. It is similar to the magnetic field due to a coil, which is mu naught I divided by 2r for a single turn. If there are n number of turns, then we will write it as mu naught I into n divided by 2r. So you should not get confused between these two expressions. This is for a circular current carrying coil at the center, and this is due to a current carrying straight conductor. So in a circular coil, so that pi term will be vanishing. In straight conductor, this pi term will exist. This you should remember. And in the continuation of the previous topic, we just started the calculation of magnetic field at a point inside the thick conductor. So that again we will take up as a quick revision. We have begun some introductory part. So this is the conductor we have imagined. This is the area of cross section. Of course, this is the axis of the conductor. So therefore, this is the radius of the cross section, and here this is the current. So current flow in the conductor as water flows in a pipe. That is, the direction of flow of electric charges is perpendicular to area of cross section. So this I call it as I. So now what I do is, an area of cross section pi r square will carry a current I. Now let us imagine a point P here, which is located at a distance small r from the axis of the conductor. It is well inside, where small r is less than capital R. It is evident here from the diagram also. Now, by using Ampere circuit law, we would like to calculate magnetic field at point P. The law demands to draw an Amperian loop in order to enclose the current in the conductor as well as the point of interest. So if I draw an Amperian loop about this point, it will be like this. So this is Amperian loop. Now children, you can clearly see that this Amperian loop cannot enclose the total current I because it is inside the conductor. So how much current this Amperian loop can enclose? To calculate that, you just draw the figure like this. So now this is the current that is enclosed by this Amperian loop. So what is the cross section of Amperian loop? It is pi r square. So if pi capital R square encloses a current I, then pi small r square encloses how much current? This current I name it as current enclosed IE. So when you take the ratio of this one, IE divided by I equals to pi small r square by pi capital R square. So pi and pi will cancel. You will get current enclosed by the Amperian loop is I into R square by R square. So this I write here, current enclosed by Amperian loop. Right. So Amperian loop is now like this. So if you see the Amperian loop, and consider a small element dl here, small element dl and magnetic field, both will be pointing in the same direction by symmetry. So by symmetry, B comma DL will point in the same direction. That is, theta is going to be 0 degree again. Okay. Now, from Ampere's law, line integral B dot dl equals to mu naught into IE. So this line integral B into dl into cos theta equals to mu naught into IE. So line integral B into dl into cos 0 degree equals to mu naught into IE. The current enclosed by the Amperian loop is total current I into small r square by capital R square. So total current I to small r square by capital R square. Cos 0 is going to be 1 and B is a magnetic field around this axis. So all the points on the Amperian loop will be located at same distance. So again by symmetry, B will be same at all points on the Amperian loop. So therefore, this B can be taken out, integral of line. So this is a dl, cos 0 has become 1. So I write it as mu naught into I into r square by r square. So dl is what? An element of Amperian loop. Yesterday also we said the same thing. dl is an element of Amperian loop. Amperian loop now will have the circumference of 2 pi r. So if you add all these dl's, you will get 2 pi r. So integration means addition only. So b into 2 pi r is nothing but mu naught into I into r square by r square. So this r and square is cut here. So you get b equals to mu naught I by 2 pi into r by r square. Just look at this equation, children, and recall the equation yesterday which you derived. B equals to mu naught I by 2 pi r. This one. So in this equation, magnetic field varies inversely with the distance from the conductor. In this equation, magnetic field varies directly with the distance of the conductor, where the remaining things are going to be constant. Mu naught is a constant, I is constant, 2 pi is constant. Radius of the cross section is also going to be a constant. So B varies directly with R. And one more thing you have to notice, children. This is inside the conductor and this is outside the conductor. So if I consider this point P here, from here to here, if the distance is what? Small r. For all these points, from here, here, for all these points, B varies inversely with R. And for all these points which are there inside, B varies directly with R. So inside the conductor is directly proportional, outside the conductor is inversely proportional. Okay? So, therefore, what is the conclusion you can make is, so inside the conductor, B varies directly with R, whereas outside it varies inversely with R. So when you plot a graph, children, for this entire discussion, small r, this is the magnitude of the magnetic field. Now yet, if you put r equals 0, that is along the axis. If I put r equals 0, then B will become 0. And up to the surface of the conductor, am I chapter? Huh? నేను క్లాస్ అవుతుంది తర్వాత ఎట్లా వస్తాడు దొడ్డదారం లోపల ఉంటాయి. Right. So now at r equals 0, magnetic field will be 0. Up to this point, r varies directly like this. Okay. So this is r equals to r. Now this is the magnetic field, magnitude of magnetic field. How much? Mu naught I by mu naught I into r divided by r square. Okay. When r equals to r, okay. If I substitute here r equals to r, then this will become, sorry, you can write like this. So this is b equals to mu naught I divided by 2 pi into r by r square. So at this point what will happen? R equals to r. So this is mu naught into I divided by r by 2 pi r square. R cancel. So you will get here mu naught I divided by 2 pi capital R. Okay? Right. Now this is up to surface. And from the surface it will be like this. So here B varies inversely with R and here B varies directly with R. So this is one of the important graphs. This should not show up. It will be like this. So what is the magnetic field available along the axis of the conductor? Means the magnetic field available along the axis of the conductor is R equals 0, B equals to 0. Clear? Fine. So this is the first application of Ampere circuit law. Then we will discuss the second application, that is magnetic field due to a solenoid. So magnetic field due to a solenoid. So this term solenoid, first time you are listening, children. Solenoid is nothing but a helical spring. The spring which you see to your bicycle stand, motorcycle stands, and the spring which is there inside your refill pens. Okay. But only the distinction between this thing and solenoid is a helical spring whose length is very large as compared to its diameter. वो स्प्रिंग की डायमीटर से कंपेयर करने से उसका लेंथ बहुत बड़ा होता है. Such a thing, such a helical spring is known as what? Solenoid. Solenoid is nothing but what? Helical spring, long helical spring. Long helical spring. How it looks like? It's like this. Suppose if these are the borders, then your it should touch completely up and then turn. This is solenoid. So it appears as if so many circular coils are stacked one besides the other. So if you keep one circular coil besides other, and you have seen the rheostat in the lab, so similar to the rheostat only. If you see the rheostat में क्या होता है? एक पाइप होता है, पाइप के ऊपर एक वायर लपेटते हैं. So that wire is wound so closely that you cannot count what are the number of turns from one end to other end, because they are very close and the wire is what? Very thin. Okay, that is the reason why what we do, we select 1 centimeter length on the rheostat. We select 1 centimeter length on the rheostat. At least we can count by some effort the total number of turns available in 1 centimeter. Okay, right. So if you ask a question, what are the total number of turns available on the rheostat of 15 centimeter means, suppose if there are in 1 centimeter you found there are 50 turns, then 15 centimeter long rheostat is there, 15 centimeter long solenoid is there, how many number of turns will be there? So this 15 centimeter divided by 1 centimeter into 50. So this will be 750 turns. Children, this calculation will be made in terms of the concept that number of turns per unit length. This is number of turns, 15 centimeter. Number of turns per unit length. If you divide this, you will get the number of turns per unit length. So N is a new concept now, that is nothing but total number of turns available L. So 50 divided by 1 centimeter will give this concept of capital N by L. Capital N is nothing but what? 50 is L. Fine. So number of turns per unit length. This also can be called as number density of the turns, like number density of electrons. Number density of electrons is over a volume. Here number of turns will be along the length. Okay, right. Now, to such a solenoid, when you connect a battery with a key in series, what will happen? The current will flow out from positive terminal. So it will come like this. So it will enter here, it will go like this, it will enter here, it will go like this, it will enter here, it will go like this. So like this it will be threading. The current will be threading. I am using the word the current is threading and it will come out. Okay, now this turn, children, it is on the board and this turn behind the board. The first, this second turn is on the board and the first turn is behind the board. Matlab, it is like this. It is like this. So if you see the direction of current is going like this. So if you hold it in such a way that thumb shows the direction of current from the right hand thumb rule. So to the conductor which is towards you, hold it in right hand so that thumb shows the direction of current. Then the curling of the remaining fingers will show the direction of magnetic field. So if you see the direction of the magnetic field, it is like this. So therefore, this solenoid will produce a magnetic field like this. This is the direction of magnetic field. Now we are very much interested what is the magnitude of this magnetic field along the axis of this solenoid. Okay, outside the solenoid the magnetic field will be 0, above and below, here and behind also. So you have only the magnetic field along the axis. Okay, so to calculate magnetic field along the axis of the solenoid, we use what? Ampere's circuit law. Now, to simplify this, what I do? I redraw the diagram of the solenoid. Due to a solenoid, let me write here along its axis. Along its axis. So, these borders will help me to draw the diagram perfectly. So, that's why I am drawing them. Otherwise, no need. If you can manage. Like this. Okay, so L is the total length of this one. It appears to be small, but it's a very big length. Okay, right. Now along the axis, how many total number of turns? There are n number of turns are there in the solenoid. So that small n equals to capital N divided by small n. Now I am allowing a current to pass through this one. So this is current I. So this side is above the board and this side is behind the board. So like this. Fine. Now, to calculate magnetic field along the axis, what I do? So this current I, the total current I is entering, total current is I. So every loop is threading with a current I. I repeat, in every loop, in every circular coil, there is a current I flowing. Now I consider, you want to calculate at this point, at this point, at this point, at this point, are all these points which are falling on this. So to calculate magnetic field at a given point, we have to draw Amperian loop in order to enclose our point of interest and also the current. Okay, so this Amperian loop now I will consider this in the form of a rectangle or a square. So I name it as P, Q, R, S. So this N I am removing here. So let me write it as it has got total number of turns capital N here. So what is PQRS? PQRS is an Amperian loop. With PQ equals to H. PQ equals to H. Okay, right. So this now P to Q, the total length is how much? H I am drawing. Fine, right. So how many number of turns will be there? How many number of turns there will be there from P to Q means number of turns in length H is, okay, in length H equals to number of turns per unit length multiplied by H. So how much current will be enclosed? The current enclosed by all these turns IE equals to, each one will have a current I, so total number of turns will have NH into I. So each turn will be threaded with the current I, total number of turns will be total turns multiplied by I. So this is I now. Right. So you have seen the magnetic field direction in the previous diagram, how it is. It was going along the axis. So that is the direction of B. And if I take a small element of the Amperian loop, this is my DL. So DL also will have the same direction. And here this is the direction of DL. And this is the direction of magnetic field. So inside the solenoid, B and DL are in the same direction. This is the direction of BL and this is the direction of DL. And outside here the magnetic field is 0. Here also magnetic field is 0. But here if you see in perpendicular direction, this is the direction of B and this is the direction of DL. The angle will become what? 90 degree. So cos 90 will be what? 0. That we will see now. Okay. Right. Now, by Ampere's law, line integral B dot dl equals to mu naught into IE. Okay, so this will be line integral B into dl into cos theta equals to mu naught into IE. Now I will substitute integral B into dl cos 0 degree equals to mu naught into IE value is nothing but n into h into I. Cos 0 is nothing but what? 1 and B is uniform along the axis. So B is outside. You will get only integral dl equals to mu naught into n into h into I. Integral dl from P to Q. Only along the axis you are making calculation. So B into h equals to mu naught into n into h into I. So this h and this h will be cancelled. You will get B equals to mu naught into I into n. Observe the equation very carefully, children. There is no distance factor involved in this. There is no r factor, small r factor or capital R factor. Nothing is there. 4 pi into 10 power minus 7 is a constant. I, suppose a 10 ampere current or a 5 ampere current, constant for a given situation. N, number of turns per unit length. In every 1 centimeter there are 50 turns, that will remain same. So therefore, solenoid will produce a magnetic field with uniformity along its axis. I repeat, the magnetic field produced by a solenoid along its axis is uniform. So in order to create uniform magnetic fields, generally we take what? Solenoids and toroids. Okay, right. Solenoids are used in many real life applications, children. For example, in television, okay, in order to create a magnetic field, actually an electron or ion is subjected to electric and magnetic field simultaneously. Electric field is produced by your capacitor plates, and magnetic field will be produced by the solenoids. So when these electric and magnetic fields act on the ion in such a way that the forces on the ion are equal in magnitude and opposite in direction, it will travel in a straight line. That is the concept of the working of the picture tube of a television. Okay, right. So B equals mu naught I into N. The extension of this one is mu naught into I into capital N divided by small l. So in a numerical, if it is given total number of turns, capital N is given and length of the solenoid is given, then what will happen? You have to use this formula. This is number density, number per unit length. If it is given, you can use this one. Fine? So this is what it is. So what about the magnetic field outside means? You have to write magnetic field outside the solenoid is 0. Only magnetic field exists along the axis. Fine. What about this direction means? This direction B and DL will be at right angles. DL is pointing in this direction, whereas B is pointing along the axis. Angle between them is what? 90 degree. Here cos 90, if you substitute, it will become what? 0. So 0 into anything will be what? 0. So therefore there is no calculation for magnetic field in a direction perpendicular to the axis. I repeat, there is no calculation of magnetic field in a direction perpendicular to the axis of the solenoid. So you have the magnetic field only along the axis of the solenoid. Fine? Right. The next one is what? Toroid. Magnetic field due to a toroid. Toroid is also known as you have a solenoid, a long solenoid, like a slinky, where you used to play with slinkies. Okay. If you bend it in the form of a circle, a solenoid bent in the form of a circle will become a toroid. So this also will be known as toroidal solenoid. And the previous one which we have discussed is a straight solenoid, and this is a toroidal solenoid. So when a straight solenoid is bent in the form of a circle, a toroid or toroidal solenoid is obtained. Just remember the statement. So now what I do, the long solenoid only, I am going to bend in the form of a circle. So for my convenience, what I do, I draw the borders first. Like this. Now I will begin my coiling from here. So this coiling should take place only at the edges of the border lines. Slightly contracted here, children. This wood is a little bit slippery. on a paper you can write very neatly. Okay, right. Now I am sending a current I in this. So it will go like this and it will come like this, and here it will go like this, like this, like this. So here like this, and finally it will go like this, it will come like this, and it will come out as what I. So let R be the average radius of this one. So this is actually, this again dotted line is called what? Axis of the toroid. This is center of the toroid, and this distance I name it as what? Capital R. So if there are a total number of turns capital N in a circumference of 2 pi r, the number of turns per unit length, number of turns per unit length, small n equals to capital N by 2 pi r. Okay, right. Now, if I consider a point P here inside the toroid, if I draw an Amperian loop about this, this is like this. What is this? Amperian loop. Why should I draw Amperian loop? The law demands the line integral of magnetic field over a closed loop. Closed loop is nothing but what? Amperian loop, directly proportional to current enclosed. So if I draw Amperian loop here at point P, where I would like to calculate magnetic field, my Amperian loop does not enclose any current because current is flowing in the toroid like this. It is flowing like this. So here there is no current. So therefore, magnetic field at point P is going to be 0 because current enclosed is 0. Line integral of B dot dl equals to mu naught into IE. If IE becomes 0, then this entire equation may right hand side 0. So therefore dl cannot be 0, but B will be going to be 0. So if you take a point here, like this is P and this is say Q. If I draw an Amperian loop, what will happen? This is going to be your Amperian loop. If you see the coils here, first semicircular coil carries current in one direction and the remaining semicircular coil carries current in the opposite direction. For a given coil, left side is in one direction, right side is what? In the other direction. Therefore, net current enclosed by this loop will be what? 0. Again, the magnetic field at B at Q is also going to be what? 0.